From the second the Leafs acquired Chris Tanev and then signed him to his multi-year deal, he's been their steadiest, most dependable blue liner. So missing him is going to hurt. The only question now, Bruce, is how bad could this hurt the Leafs?
Well, it could really, you know what? I hope it's day to day because he has been not only the most dependable, he's near the top of the league in blocked shots. He's made the Leafs a better penalty killing team, and when they get the lead, they know how to hold on to it, and he's on the ice all the time for these things. So it's going to be, and I think he's made everybody around him think a little bit more defensively whenever he's been on the ice. So I think he's been huge. And if he's missing any amount of time, this is what I'm saying. I hope it's one day. I hope he misses the next game and that's it. But if he doesn't, boy, and he's out 6 weeks or more, then all of a sudden LTI might come into play as long as he's ready to come back for the playoffs, because the Leafs are going to need him when it comes playoff time. But I hope to goodness he's just out for a game.
Throwing out the 6 weeks term there, Coach. You just said panic through Leaf Nation. The timing of this is brutal for the Leafs because they don't know how long he's going to be out, and the deadline is just over a week away. Does this force the Leafs' hand between now and next Friday, Bruce, just in case?
Well, I think they always want to get depth. I mean, so even if it's not long term, you know darn well in any game somebody can get hurt, and the closer it gets to the final, to the end of the season, then the games become more intense and more intense and more intense. So somebody usually does get hurt. The Leafs are going to need more depth on defense. Hopefully it's not Tanev. I mean, he's a Craig Berube style player the whole way, and they use him 20 minutes a night. But if he is hurt, they got a week to find somebody that can sort of maybe at least do something that he does, that kind of player. That's what they need on defense.
Coach, you coached many a team going to the trade deadline. At this point, how much conversation is going on between the coach and the general manager in terms of you campaigning for some extra help to fill some holes in your roster, Bruce?
Well, you know what? I think the coach goes up. They have the meetings and they have talks all the time. Hopefully, they have all these talks. But the coach can only, and what I only did is, I'm going to tell you what we need, Mr. GM, and it's up to you to either go get them if you think we need them, or not go get them. But I'm going to give you a wish list. And I mean, the best one I got was when I asked George McPhee. I said, George, I'm going to need a center here. We got Nick Backstrom, but we don't have anybody following him. And then he came down the stairs a day later and he says, geez, Bruce, I hope I got this guy. His name is Fedorov. I hope he can fit for you. And he gave me that look and I said, oh, he'll do, George. And so, I mean, you got to have the good relationships with the GM, but you've got to be able to tell him what you think you need. And let's face it, the coach is with them more than anybody else. He knows, he has the pulse of the team. And so, I mean, I think any GM that's smart will listen to the coach to what they need and hopefully go out and help them get it.
Coach, what's it like for you as a coach to walk into a dressing room 4, 5, 6 days before the deadline and you're looking around the players and you can tell by the look on their faces, they're thinking, am I okay here? Am I going to get moved? Did you spend any time trying to encourage guys to kind of put that aside, or how did you handle that with your players?
Oh man, that's such a good question because when I was in Vancouver my first year, we were really pushing, but we were outside the playoffs. And I mean, everybody. I mean, there was the rumors going on. I mean, that Connor Garland was getting moved. Horvat was getting moved. Miller was getting moved. Luke Schenn was getting moved. Tyler Mott was getting moved. And I mean, we were playing 3 important games, and I knew that the guys' minds were on something else. So I mean, I came in there the one time and I was fairly adamant, and I said, boys, you got to believe me here that nobody's getting moved. The only guy that they've talked about trading is Luke Schenn, and I won't let him go anywhere. He's ours. So you guys aren't going to get moved. Now, consequently, they never believe you but they believe you're trying to build up the team. But that was the case. Tyler Mott got moved for a late round pick, I think, to the Rangers. But at the same time, that's the only guy we moved. But players are thinking about it all the time. They don't want to uproot their family. Nobody wants to get moved, but they're hearing, if they're on the last year of the contract, they're hearing it from the media. They're hearing it from everybody. And it's not a really fun time of year if you're a player that's on that bubble.
All right, getting back to Chris Tanev, the only good news about the timing of the Tanev injury, the Leafs have 4 games left between now and the deadline. 3 of those 4 games are against non-playoff teams.